Being physical is a huge part of hockey and is often what people say is their favorite part of the sport, but the game is played with so much emotion, and sometimes when players let their emotions take over, they get physical in all the wrong ways. Cheap shots, intent to injure, and just downright stupid plays are not uncommon to come by in the NHL, and some players have made a name for themselves being the ones to dish out these stupid plays. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the NHL's dirtiest players. Corey Perry. The 2003 first-round pick plays an aggressive style, mixing in some nasty stick work, hacking and whacking opponents wherever he can. He also riles up opponents by running his mouth, delivering late and low hits, and also has his flair for selling penalties like no other. What's interesting about Corey Perry was that he was once a highly skilled, offensively minded power forward who came up big in key moments for the Anaheim Ducks, and he's managed to stay relevant in the league throughout so many years. He's had success on every stage in his career, including the Stanley Cup, the Memorial Cup, the OHL Championship, the Olympics, the World Championship, the World Cup, and the World Juniors. Even in his advancing years, Perry is still known as a player that you would never want to face off in a playoff series, as he will at some point be in the middle of a controversial hit or dirty play that will have you pleading with the referees to make a call. Ryan Reeves. Ryan Reeves was known as the ridiculously tough fourth liner who would rack up penalty minutes and lay down hundreds of hits each season. He was hated by many, but he didn't really cross the line that much. However, after joining the Vegas Golden Knights at the 2018 trade deadline, Ryan Reeves' reputation started to shift. No longer was he a player that just had a physical brand of hockey, but he started to find himself in the press for negative reasons. Late hits, hits to the head, and just flat out dirty plays that left numerous players on the ice in dangerous conditions. Case in point, all you have to do is look at the 2021 playoffs to see where Reeves' bad reputation comes from. First off, there was the hit on the Minnesota Wild defenseman Ryan Suter that left him face down on the ice. Then there was this retaliatory hit on Colorado Avalanche defenseman Ryan Graves, which ended up in a way you'd never expect, Ryan Reeves pulling out a chunk of his hair from his head. There's a fine line between a tough player who will stick up for their teammates and someone who's making plays with the intent to injure. Lately, Ryan Reeves has fallen on the wrong side of that line. Matthewchuk. Matthewchuk is a tough-as-nails power forward who pushes the game to the absolute limit. After he entered the league, Tkachuk has earned a reputation as one of those types of players who tries to straddle the line between gritty and dirty, but doesn't always get it right. Tkachuk has been suspended 3 times and earned his reputation as a dirty player. Even as he has learned to control his physical game and avoided making those suspension-worthy hits in recent years, he still manages to draw negative attention to himself, like when he was involved in an incident that injured Toronto Maple Leafs starting goaltender Jack Campbell early in the 2020-21 season. As long as Matthewchuk is still in the league, expect controversy to follow. When asked about Matthewchuk, Drew Doughty said, "I'm pretty sure he might be the most hated player in the NHL. I have lots of friends on other teams and they don't love him either." Nazem Kadri. The 7th overall pick in 2009 is no stranger to making controversial hits. His dirty elbow on goaltender Nicklas Backstrom is a perfect example of him making the wrong decision on the ice. It's unfortunate to say, but Kadri has been known to go headhunting and take out opponents' knees. He's careless with his elbows, and his aggressive style of play has earned him a steady growing trend of penalty minutes and poorly timed suspensions. Just take a look at Kadri's barbaric hit on Tommy Wingels on April 12, 2018. It was the type of hit that could have ended a career and created serious damage. The worst part is he hasn't really learned his lesson either, as he laid a similar dangerous hit on Jake DeBrusk in April of 2019 that earned him a 3-game suspension, and then he got another 8 games after delivering an illegal check to the head of Justin Falk during the 2021 postseason. Now, there's no doubt that Kadri is an incredibly talented forward, but if you can't control your play on the ice, it doesn't really matter how talented you are. Throughout his career so far, he is often on the wrong side of playing a tough physical game, and until he can get that under control, it will continue to limit his potential as a top 6 forward. Brendan Lemieux. I guess for Brendan, you can say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Brendan Lemieux, son of Claude Lemieux, is no stranger to blurring the lines of proper play. Lemieux plays the game like a goon and has a history of making plays that sit on the borderline of being legal. In the 2017-2018 season, while with the Manitoba Moose, Winnipeg's AHL affiliate, he had 170 penalty minutes in just 51 games played. Additionally, his headhunting play has been suspended several times in the OHL while playing for the Barrie Colts. At the NHL level, Lemieux was suspended for 2 games for an illegal check and is a fan of sitting in the penalty box. Throughout 180 games played in the NHL, he has 313 penalty minutes to his name, making him the 5th most penalized player since he entered the league. Perhaps Lemieux's dirtiest play is the infamous biting incident. For someone like Lemieux, who's already viewed as a dirty player, biting a fellow player multiple times and hard enough to draw significant blood is not only dirty, but ridiculously violent. Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand's dirty style has earned him the moniker of the Rat. He's so dirty that his own team's fan base often has trouble defending his actions at times. The undersized forward plays on the edge with borderline hits, unorthodox behavior, a mouth that never stops talking trash, and a tongue that for some reason won't stop licking. On top of that, Marshawn is a frequent diver that irks players as much as fans. Clipping, slew-footing, elbowing, spearing, this 5'9" forward has displayed more despicable on-ice antics per pound than any other player in NHL history. With all that being said, players admit you'd love to have him on your team, but you cannot stand playing against him. Tom Wilson. There are 2 options for your opinion on Tom Wilson. You either hate him and see that the NHL doesn't really care about player safety, or you're a Capitals fan. Throughout the years, he's broken jaws and sidelined opponents with concussions while earning multiple suspensions. This polarizing repeat offender has built a career with a controversial style of play that's targeted opponents' heads and delivered late hits. He always puts himself in situations worthy of review. While he was able to keep his name out of the headlines briefly, Wilson fell back to his old playing habits in the 2020-21 season. First, he was suspended 5 games for boarding Brandon Carlo, which was his 5th suspension in his career. Then he had a moment that briefly broke the NHL when he got into a scrum with Pavel Buchnevich and Artemi Panarin that left the Rangers star injured in a play that looked dirtier and dirtier the more you watched. To put it simply, there is a gap between what the NHL says they allow on the ice and what they actually allow. With a player like Wilson in the league, he finds a way to live in that gap, somehow just getting by while still being the dirtiest player in the league today. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button.